Hello, I'm Ruth, and welcome to the first ever episode of my new series, Poetry Pandemonium. In this series, each week I will share with you another poem that I have written, and I will tell you the reason behind that poem. Sometimes I will tell you the reason for the poem before I read it to you, and sometimes I will tell you the reason afterwards. This week, we're starting off with a special episode. The poem I have for you today is one I worked on for a non-profit organization called Operation Resolve Organization. So I thought I would start off today by reading you guys the mission statement for the non-profit organization. We are a group of protective parents, grandparents, and guardians of children. Our organization, Operation Resolve, would like to request that we unite against routine and systematic corruption, the very systems that are empowered and are supposed to protect our children. United by our experiences and the experiences of children, we are making every attempt to root out and put a stop to systematic failures within family courts, juvenile reform systems, and child protective services to keep our children safe. Our mission is to root out and expose all people who are routinely involved with trafficking, racketeering, and profiting from not protecting children and keeping them safe. Family and juvenile courts and children protective services and agencies are failing to keep our children safe. Due process is often tainted by political and financial pursuits, driven by unchecked power, status, greed, and reputation. These professionals and systems set up to protect our children are failing. Systematic failures and further compounded lack of transparency, lack of accountability, and immaturity. Paid services profit from being made, while our children are routinely being sent back into unsafe and deadly situations. Billions of taxpayer dollars are spent by organized networks, including supposedly trusted professionals, attorneys, reunification specialists, guardians, therapists, doctors, and judges who profit at the expense of protecting our children. We are committed to looking into multiple complaints regarding members of legal and professional communities who perform various roles in court cases involving abuse and allegations of abuse. When the systems that are supposed to keep our children safe fail, every protective and safe adult is responsible and has a due diligence duty to protect all of our children. If you are interested in getting more information about Operation Resolve organization, I will be dropping the link to this organization in the description. Getting back into the poem. The name of the poem I'm going to be sharing with you today is called Sir Fly. And it's about a fly who is not very good at flying, so he learns to surf. What I really love about this poem is it's all about embracing who you truly are and finding a place where you belong, even if it's not the place where you thought you were supposed to end up. Melissa came up with the idea for this story and did the voiceover. I wrote this story into a poem and did the illustration. This week's poem is illustrated, as I previously mentioned. However, the majority of the poems I share with you will not be. A couple of them will be, and I'll let you know when I'm sharing an illustrated poem. But for the most part, while I'm reading the poem to you, it's just going to show the title of the poem, like it does while I'm explaining the reason behind the poem. With that being said, here is Sir Fly. I hope you enjoy.
I am Sir Fly, and it's in my DNA to rule the skies and soar. Ever since the day I was born, I felt the sky calling me in my core. Ever since I was a larvae, I've dreamed of being up in the fresh air and roaming free. Up in the clouds is where I'm supposed to be. Well, I don't quite know how to say it, but my plans changed after my very first flight. I don't know what's wrong, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't fly quite right. My concentration was unbreakable, but I kept swerving and crashing. What makes it even worse is no one tried to help me. I just heard the others laughing. When I had fallen back down to the ground, I had never felt so low. In my heart, a sense of shame and self doubt began to grow. So I shut myself away from the world. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I had no motivation to move as I found nothing fun. A few days later, I was found by a crab looking for a shell. He asked me what was wrong. I told him the story of how I fell. He empathized with my story as I told him how my worst fear came true. After listening for a while, he said, "Sir, if you keep hiding here, you'll never find what you're meant to do." That very same day, he dragged me out on the beach down by the water. I watched him climb on a piece of driftwood and teeter and totter. Soon I saw him catch a wave, and when he came back, I asked him, "What was that thing you just did?" The crab replied, "That's called surfing, and I'm going to teach you how, kid." I am Sir Fly, and the sky didn't work out too well for me, but the open water is now my home. I'm really good at surfing, and here I am free to roam. I have lots of friends, and I am thankful for the things I have been taught. I have learned to be grateful for the things that I can do and not be upset about the things I cannot.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this performance, please check out at Poetry for Life on Instagram. That's at poetry.4.life on Instagram.